Hi everyone. I'm going to make a video to talk through what might have been the first confusing step you faced in the first exercise. Now the relevant steps are highlighted here in the Word doc, and they are the process of choosing the fields that you want to use to join the records in that standalone table to the geometry information on parcels that could be found within the shapefile. So I'm going to go into ARC, and what I've got here, I've got two copies of that parcels. This is just for illustrating. You'd only need one if you're going to accomplish the goals of the exercise. And the standalone table here, along with some base map layers. I've kind of zoomed in so we can see a little bit clearer. Again, just to illustrate what I'm talking about. So in the parcels standalone table, you can see that there's kind of close to the left a field called MBL, and it's a long alphanumeric code, mostly numeric here, that is also broken up in the next few fields into a map, a block, and a lot. Now, if you explored the table a little more, you could see to the right there are these other related fields, GIS MBL, GPV MBL, GIS GPV MBL. And I don't know the whole history of this data set and how these variants came to be, but I think that's okay. And it's fine with me to have a useful example of this, of data that are not the cleanest, that have a little bit of a little idiosyncrasies in them, that, you know, it means more work for you, but it shouldn't stop you in your tracks either. If we look at the table of parcels Worcester, so here I'm going to open up one. There's, again, to the left, a field called map par ID. The first few records or features in here don't have any value for it. You have to go down to row 11 to find some that do, but we can kind of recognize by these numbers that that's the same kind of information, hopefully the same values themselves, as would be found in those MBL fields if we look in the standalone. Now, why don't these records have any? In fact, they're the roads. So these are not parcels, but if you want kind of a contiguous shapefile coverage of a city, you need to have something be the roads. So I've just selected them in this version to see that. Now, in this table also, though, if we go to the right, maybe not all the way, but there is a GIS GPV MBL field. And because we saw a field with the same exact name in the standalone table, that is kind of a hint to you that they should correspond well. You get a lot of one-to-one matches. But what if there wasn't exactly the same name field? What could we do? So in this other parcels layer, what I've done is selected all of the features where the map par ID value is not equal to that GIS GPV underscore MBL value. So we selected them and sorted them so that that's what we're seeing. It looks like there's almost 3,000 of them. So if we look within the same record, we're seeing the same numbers. There's just a little bit, a few different characters toward the end. In this GIS GPV, it's underscores and dashes only. In the map par ID, instead of underscores, they've got a plus sign and a space. A plus sign and a space. But the numbers aren't going to be different record to record. I looked also on the map. You can do this yourself to see what was selected, and the features are similar, but I'd be reluctant to kind of pull out a kind of ironclad logical pattern. So you can see here there's a parcel for WPI, or Worcester Polytech Institute. That's a university. Up here is a high school. But then again, there's no selected parcel for Worcester State University or for another high school right here. So it could have to do with maybe when changes, any kind of alterations were being made to the boundaries of the parcel, or it could be due to something else entirely. But without knowing that, what I'll do here is clear the selection, or I can clear the selection of the roads and initiate a join. Join and relate, add join. So we can stick first, maybe we'll give the try this map par ID field. We don't want to keep all target features, just the ones for which there's a one-to-one match, an exact match between the shapefile and that standalone. And so the default join field it gives us for that is MBL. We can give that a test, and we don't have to click OK. We can do validate join. That'll open up a message, and if we scroll down, you can see, look at the final two lines. A one-to-one join has matched 41,556 records. The input table has 41,975, and the join table 47,443. So what you can do, even without any kind of information on the background, is just try to maximize this number. How many one-to-one joins can you get? The ceiling on that number is going to be here. It's going to be the input table, the parcel's features, which has not quite 42,000. So 41,556 is close to that. Good, you know, it's probably enough that you can continue on and get some sort of result. Now, it might not be as complete as possible, so it might not be an entirely accurate result. Let's compare some other things. If we try map par ID to that GIS GPV MBL from the standalone, if we validate that, what do we get? Not quite 39,000 records. So before it was I think 41,500. Now it's 39,000. So there's about 2,000 of these records that has, you know, the plus sign in one, the underscore in the other. Again, that's dangerously close. If you see that, you might think you're okay. But now, since there's a GIS GPV in both, if we just match the field names, which is good practice, and we validate that, how many do we get? There we go, 41,907. So it's not quite all of the records. I guess there's 68 that were not matched, but it's a few hundred more than the first one we attempted. And so if that's the highest number you can get, and again, you should feel more confident when the fields have the same name, it should be good to go, good to proceed. There we go.